angels waging war in the unseen realm. Global events fulfilling biblical prophecy. Eternal life. What lies beyond mortality? From analyzing the paranormal from a biblical worldview to the discussion of cutting-edge science and technology, conspiracy, discovery, special investigative reports. Unafraid to explore the challenging issues facing humanity. Welcome to another edition of Skywatch TV.
Do ancient texts speak of a 12th planet that orbits in a 3,600-year cycle? Or is it possible that the Earth was visited by ancient astronauts in our distant past? Can you tell that I'm doing a parody of the Ancient Astronaut Show? Welcome to Skywatch TV. I'm Derek Gilbert. This is a special web-exclusive broadcast as we get ready for Halloween by discussing spiritual warfare. And today we talk about the links between ancient alien theory and the occult. Joining me on the panel, the author of the new book Saboteurs and Skywatch TV's CEO Tom Horn.
Good to be here.
And the author of the Red Wing Saga, a series of fiction that teaches spiritual warfare through storytelling. Book 1, Blood Lies. Book 2, brand new from Rose Avenue Fiction, Blood Rights. Sharon K Gilbert.
Hi, sweetie. Your hair's not nearly tall enough.
It isn't.
That's what I was thinking.
It isn't, but there's only so much room on this 16:9 screen,
That's
so
true.
we can't do.
Yeah.
He does have a tendency to do that. They don't make statements; they just ask questions. Is it possible that? And you know, all the time I'm answering no. But in researching the forthcoming book that Josh, I was honored to co-write with Josh Peck. And to be honest, he did most of the writing in the book. But the section I dealt with really dug into the origins of the whole Ancient Aliens theory, which is so prominent. I mean, it's in its 12th season on television,
Yeah.
that show. It really derives from the occult. Mm-hmm. And you can draw very strong connections, connecting the dots with, starting with the Spiritism movement, Emanuel Swedenborg in the 18th century, and from him to Helena Blavatsky, who built on the spiritualist movement founded by the...
Who was very big in the 19th century, which the era when I write. In fact, she lived in London.
Exactly, yeah. So Blavatsky should show up in that series.
Oh, she will be.
And so should Aleister Crowley, who comes
And
after
he
her.
will be too.
Because they both believed, as did Swedenborg, that they were hearing from entities on other worlds.
Yeah.
Swedenborg believed they were angels living elsewhere in the solar system. Blavatsky said, no, they're the masters of ascended wisdom or ascended masters of wisdom who are guiding humanity's development. Crowley thought he was hearing from Egyptian gods, and specifically an aspect of the god Horus. So he was kicking off the Eon of Horus around 1904. From there, you get Crowley's acolyte, who was named his successor of the Ordo Templi Orientis, the OTO, his secret society, Kenneth Grant, who detected what he called a Sirius Set current, or a Set-Sirius current, referring to the Egyptian god of chaos, Set, and the star Sirius. And so he believed, okay, now we're moving from the Eon of Horus into the Eon of Set, this Eon of chaos, and we need to learn how to master chaos if we're not going to be destroyed. But interestingly, Grant thought that the horror fiction author H.P. Lovecraft, who created the Cthulhu mythos, and Cthulhu was this monstrous octopus-headed, tentacled, scaly being with bat-like wings who lay dreaming in his giant city under the sea, waiting for the stars to get right so he would awaken and summon the great old ones to return to Earth. Again, this idea that there are gods out there who created us in our distant past and are just waiting to return. Well, his work, according to Grant, was drawing on the same spiritual source as Aleister Crowley. And in fact, researcher Peter Levenda points out that in 1907, Halloween, Crowley was channeling whatever it was that was talking to him. It wasn't an Egyptian god, it was something claiming to be. He wrote down the word Tutulu for the first time. Claimed to have no idea what it meant. Tutulu, October 31st and November 1st, as he was channeling some of the books that became the holy books of his religion, Thelema. In 1926, H.P. Lovecraft, in writing the story, The Call of Cthulhu, placed the discovery of the little statue of Cthulhu on October 31st, that very night in 1907.
The very year.
The very year and very day that Crowley, now, according to Grant, according to Lavenda, Lovecraft didn't know who Crowley was. May have heard of him, had no idea about his work. Lovecraft claimed to be an atheist all his life. But the odds of this happening, of Crowley writing down Cthulhu and Lovecraft coming up with that and placing the discovery of this thing on the very night in his story that Crowley was channeling this, just astronomical.
Astronomical, and I would suggest perhaps they were channeling something.
Right.
Agents of deception, which even some of the secular researchers into ufology and the whole idea about alien abduction, some of the best.
Right.
Who is the French Jacques Vallée?
Oh, yes, yeah.
You know, saying that, you know, after all of those years of research and interviewing people who were abductees, and who was the psychologist that...
Dr. John Mack.
Yeah, that got hit by a car and killed.
Yeah.
But they all came to a similar type of conclusion, that whatever this is, it seems to be nearly identical to the age-old theological discussion around demonology and demon possession and demonic activity. Now, I was thinking as you were talking, and you know these facts better than I do, but that this isn't just an antiquated idea with Lovecraft and Crowley and guys like that, but a lot of the modern people in the UFO circle are also still saying that they're incommunicado.
Right, right.
They're talking with these entities right now, right, about the forthcoming official disclosure. Some of this was picked up in the recent WikiLeaks discoveries. But from what I understand, because you guys just came back recently from Roswell, what was that? Was it their 70th?
70th.
70th,
Yeah.
which is why we went, because biblically that's an important number.
Yeah, so the 70th, and you talked to a lot of the people that were there, not just Mike Heiser, you did that too. And in fact, we're going to be giving away kind of a quasi-documentary where you went behind the scenes with a lot of the experts in this field and talked to them about, you know, are we moving towards official disclosure? You know, if we are, why do you think we are? And what is the spiritual element behind this? But you found out there were people in the that are members of what, like MUFON or whatever. They don't like some of the other people talking about being in contact with spirits, right?
Right, yeah. MUFON has been co-opted at a very high level by the Ancient Aliens crowd. And this idea that there is a secret space program and that entities are in contact with us, you know, the Ashtar Command or whatever, are communicating via telepathy with certain contactees here on Earth. Now, I have no doubt that those contactees, at least some of them, are hearing from something.
Sure.
But it's like Aleister Crowley, it's like Kenneth Grant, it's like Helena Blavatsky. Whatever they're hearing from ain't who they think it is, or who they're claiming it is. You know, and it was the work of of Crowley through H.P. Lovecraft, who inspired, you know, this whole idea of the old gods coming back. You know, they created us and they're coming back. Inspired Eric von Daniken to write Chariots of the Gods, and then in 1976 inspired Zecharia Sitchin to write the 12th Planet. You know, Planet Nibiru is coming back, and that's where the Anunnaki live, and the Anunnaki, who were the Sumerian gods, really created humanity, and they're going to come back, and, you know, who knows what will happen then. But there are people today who still believe that they are channeling contact from these ascended masters or whatever. In fact, one of them is a New Age teacher is the nice way to put it. Some would call her a cult leader who is a member of the MUFON Inner Circle. There are 13 members of the MUFON Inner Circle.
13, eh?
13, yes.
And I always find these numbers interesting, right? The 13, but also the 9, part of who they believe.
Another group that was channeled by
essentially the Aeneid.
Yeah, the 9 being the 9 principal gods of the Egyptian pantheon, who began
channeled by people like associated with Bell Helicopter, really influential people of wealth.
Right.
And
People,
power.
you know, old money, the Astor family, the Forbes family, the Payne family, who go back, you know, hundreds of years in the United States. From the early 50s through the late 70s, through various channelers, all connected through a CIA operative by the name of Dr. Andrea Puharich, who was worked for the CIA for years, basically on mind control and stuff like that. But this was one of his projects, his round table, where he would get this group together that believed they were channeling this group of gods from outer space called the Nine. In fact, one of the periodic members of the group was Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, who later went on to write a movie treatment based on the Nine. Never went anywhere, but it did kind of show up in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, you know, the thing that I have to ask, and this is, you know, hopefully in the spirit of Jacques Vallée, who questioned some true believers in the UFO movement about the existence of the supposed base at Dulce, New Mexico, this big underground base where alien greys and humans are working together, and he just asked, who takes out the garbage?
Right.
I mean, you know, where's the power coming from? I mean, there would be a heat signature you could see from any satellite in space, and they were like, no, it's got to be there.
Alien technology doesn't work that way. Right?
Exactly.
They have a different kind of an incinerator.
I guess. But that's my question, is if we are being contacted by extraterrestrials, why is it all by telepathy? I mean, if these people had the technology to overcome the problems of how do we shield the craft against interstellar radiation, how do we overcome the energy requirements needed to get from here to there, have they not yet figured out how to work a radio or invent a webcam?
But now, haven't most of the people in the serious parts of like MUFON and whatever, they've moved more to this idea of parallel realities.
They have,
and it's not really a nuts and bolts craft that's bat craft.
Well, and that's the thing, is that the serious researchers, and I mean that in terms of, you know, gravitas, not the star system Sirius, which plays an important role in this whole mythos, they are not happy that MUFON has gone in this direction, that it has kind of embraced this alternate reality, this contiguous universe, which was a phrase that showed up in the WikiLeaks emails released from John Podesta. They're not happy about it because it's basically accepting unquestioningly, unlike Jacques Vallée, you know, who takes out the garbage, you know, how did they get here, and if they're here and they crossed, you know, light years of space to get here, why can't they just pick up the phone? Why are they using telepathy to try to talk to us?
But I think that also is another part of the way some of them would answer that, is that there was a reason for stealth, there's a reason for timing, we're moving towards an official disclosure moment. This is a lot of what you guys are going to be dealing with in November and December on the day the Earth stands still, where you're dealing hypothetically with this idea that, okay, the WikiLeaks, according to WikiLeaks, we were moving towards official disclosure in 2017. Even representatives from the Vatican talking to Podesta about this. Do they know something that we don't know? And if you do a little bit of mental gymnastics and ask yourself the question, okay, what would happen if all of a sudden, you know, we wake up tomorrow morning and everybody from the Pope to the President are standing in the well of the United Nations saying, folks, we have an announcement to make, right?
Well, biblically, we know that something is coming that Jesus refers to as the strong delusion. Yeah,
and that is the other part of this is, you know, and that thought has kind of come back around. You know, when I was a young pastor, well, I wasn't really young, but I was in the 70s, so a lot younger than now, right?
And long hair, too.
Yeah, and, well, not when I was a pastor, but just before.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made me cut my hair. Isn't that sad? It's just so sad. Anyway.
I'm never going to get over that.
Now I wished I had it to cut, but be that what it is. Now I fit in with the whole UFO globe orb kind of thing. There we go. But I think that would be one of their answers as well. There's a reason now, because don't forget that it was only, you know, a couple of decades ago in which, you know, even university level philosophers were saying that even the discovery of a microorganism on another world could create a giant ripple effect through religion that would challenge the notion or the idea of our, you know, human exceptionalism, as Wesley Smith calls it, that there's something different about Earth, that it's a special place. I think a lot of philosophers and theologians today, and not just in the Catholic Church, have changed their mind about that, and they no longer believe that that would be the challenge to our orthodoxy or to our faith, and therefore maybe we're ready now for official disclosure, and so they can stop communicating psychically with the little group on the inside, right? And they can just come out now and make themselves known to humanity for what they are.
Well, we'll talk about that in the next segment.
What was that old movie where it turns out that the aliens were actually what we would think of as the devil. Remember that old book that was...
Oh, Arthur C. Clarke, Childhood's End.
Childhood's End.
Yes.
Another reason they may not have made themselves known for what they actually are is because it would scare us. And in Childhood's End, you know, they come and they just stay in the ship and they only have one or two people they'll talk to, right?
Yeah.
And then finally at the end when the world is ready, then they reveal themselves, and isn't it glorious that the very persons that we have always thought of as the devil and his angels are actually our saviors and our heroes, right?
Right, yeah. Well, we talk about this because, frankly, the entire UFO phenomenon, and especially the contactee phenomenon, is it's a science fiction religion. It is a new religion for the 21st century. And we'll continue that discussion as we continue this series of web-exclusive broadcasts leading up to Halloween week on Skywatch TV. With Tom Horn and Sharon K. Gilbert, I'm Derek Gilbert. Thanks for watching. This is Skywatch TV.
The Trump administration is now vowing to crack down and punish deep state saboteurs.
Today, America is being manipulated through a Washington-based shadow government.
This is a war now, the deep state against you and the President of the United States.
The artificial chaos engineered by elites and advanced by enemies of democracy is being propagandized by a devoted media machine to take down President Trump.
I submit to you that the establishment that you talk about, the so-called deep state, exists on both sides, the left and the right, and President Trump is up against both of them.
But this is not the whole story. A much more sinister quest behind the deep state is at work to usher in a final world order.
He's an outsider. He's not them. He's not part of the club. You know, he hasn't been through the initiation rites. He didn't belong to the secret society. He didn't belong to the secret society. The secret society.
They're trying to cheat you out of the future and the future that you want. They're trying to cheat you out of the leadership you want.
Globalists, secret societies, and world power brokers anticipate the insidious arrival of a messianic strongman they call the Gray Champion. Now, for the first time ever, expert on occultism and best-selling author Dr. Thomas Horn joins a senior analyst from the Pentagon and a retired police detective to bring you the shocking truth behind an ancient cabal, almost too fantastic to believe.
If these forces are successful, this country will not survive.
They have a plan for your future, but you can know their secret and stop them in their tracks. Get ready, saboteurs, how secret deep state occultists are manipulating American society toward a final world order.
America is being manipulated by sinister occult forces and a Washington-based shadow government. But now, for the first time ever, expert on occultism and best-selling author Dr. Thomas Horn is joined by senior analyst from the Pentagon, Colonel Bob McGinnis, and retired police detective Carl Gallups to expose these nefarious forces. Skywatch TV is proud to announce the Saboteurs Collection. When you order the new books, Saboteurs, Gods and Thrones, and The Deeper State from Skywatch TV, you'll also receive free of charge for a limited time the exclusive oversized hardback collector editions of the classic 2-volume set, The Devils and Evil Spirits of Babylonia, and The Fallen Angels and the Heroes of Mythology. These two timeless masterpieces, finally in print again after 100 years, are the perfect gift for the scholar or Bible student in your life, and hold a retail value of over $60 all by themselves, but are included absolutely free when you purchase the limited time Saboteurs Collection. But that's not all. You'll also receive the never-before-aired DVD Off the Record, featuring exclusive interviews with Dr. Thomas Horn, Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis, and Detective Carl Gallups, further exposing the dark secrets of globalist elites and how to stop them in their tracks. This content is only available in this exclusive offer and will not be aired anywhere else. Finally, you'll also receive The Shadow Hand, the over 24-hour Steve Quayle and Tom Horn definitive audio series on CD. This audio collection discloses the terrifying truth behind the infamous WikiLeaks dumps, the shadow government, and so much more. This unprecedented special offer sold separately holds a retail value of over $175. Yours now for only $29.99 plus shipping and handling. The holiday gift season is coming, and you won't find this collection anywhere else. So don't delay. Order the Saboteurs collection for somebody you love now at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985.